Earlier in the course, we looked at something called property binding, which is exactly what we're using here. We're binding to a property called ngClass. Now, what we'll do is duplicate this section again. I'm going to show you how to customize some styles. If we don't want to add any class names, what we could do is just eradicate this. So what we can do is use the square brackets. And just like before where we access the class, this underneath will access class name, which is the JavaScript equivalent of this. However, we also have a style object. So you may have done something before in JavaScript that says element.style.background equals and then perhaps string in red. So this is similar to what we're doing here. So what we can do is actually do background. Now I'm actually going to use the camel case. So this is the JavaScript equivalent. Any properties that you use will need to be JavaScript equivalents. So we're going to use background color here, and all we're going to do is pass in an expression based on whether the passenger has been checked in or not. So we can do passenger.checkedin, and in here we're going to use a ternary, and we'll just set up these quotes really quickly. Now if the passenger is not checked in, we're obviously not going to add this class name because we're not adding anything via a class binding, we're using a style. So what we're going to do is actually set the background color to green. And then otherwise, we're going to set it to red. So we're going to copy those styles across, and we're basically going to create this expression. You don't need to put these, by the way. This just makes the formatting a little bit nicer. So let's go ahead and check this third example out. So you can see here that when we inspect element, we will actually have a background color, and you can see that we've got this RGB, and we can click and we can change it to hexadecimal. So here it's dynamically adding a style and then a background color, and Angular's compiler is doing this for you under the hood. So you can see we have just a single class as status. So no class names are being added here. There's one final way that we can do this with something called ngStyle, which we'll finish off this video with. So let's go ahead and take a look. Again, we're going to copy this and we'll duplicate it below. This one will be a simple refactor. What we'll do is get rid of this. We will copy the background color. We're just going to do ngStyle. And like before, you can probably guess that this is going to be similar to ngClass. This example is going to also use an object, and we're going to use the background color as a key on the object. And then we just need to close off the object on the other side. So all it is an object with a background color property inside. It will evaluate this expression. It will run this ternary statement. If the passenger is checked in, we get the green. If not, we get the red. So let's go and have a look at how ngStyle will paint these to the DOM. So again, we can't see any actual difference in the implementation details, but we have the hexadecimal colors, we have the RGBs, and all four of these are using 4 different approaches to adding styles depending on what you want to achieve. Now, the more you build with Angular, the more you'll be able to understand, and you'll come up with your own approaches to styling based on your requirements.